Well, my name is Sarah Tucker. I'm a soprano, and I'll be coming back to San Diego to sing Fiordiligi in COSI Fan Tutte by Mozart. It is a role debut for me. I'm very excited to try her out. I've mostly worked on her arias and ensembles here and there, but I've never done the whole role before. She's incredibly tough, vocally and as a character. Very rangy, which I love. I get to use lots of chest voice, which never happens for my Fach. So that's exciting. But more interestingly, she's a really complex, tough, multifaceted character. You know, she's tortured through most of the opera by her conscience and her desires. And I think it's going to be really fun to pick that apart. I haven't gotten to work with any of these folks. Elisa and Reggie, I know personally, but haven't gotten to sing with them yet. So that'll be really fun. And everybody else on the list just looks spectacular. Wow, it's a rock star cast. Okay, so at this very moment, I am in Norfolk, Virginia, working on a production of Das Rheingold with Virginia Opera. And we are doing it at a very unusual venue. I don't know if you've heard of Top Golf. Yeah. So it'll be very stadium-like and probably the biggest stage that I've ever been on. And lots of challenges, but we're up for it. The cast is in Tech Week right now. So we're all very excited, very tired, but ready to see what happens. Yeah, so we're down on the green, and it sounds like you've been to a Top Golf before. They have these big hits that are covered with nets, and they're in different positions based on how far you hit your golf ball. I'm a new golfer. I just tried it for the first time a couple of nights ago. So this is all very new to me, but we'll be playing in between those pits, and the audience will be sort of up high. It'll be like watching a Super Bowl halftime show. And so we've had to make everything as big as we can to fill that huge space. But yeah, Wagner is a perfect way to try out a giant venue like this. So my new husband and I got married in January, and he is singing Fasolt, one of the giants in Das Rheingold, and I am singing Freya, the goddess of love and beauty, whom he falls in love with and tries to kidnap. So that's resulted in lots of joking and silliness in rehearsals. So we first met on a job. By the way, his name is Hidenori Inoue. He's a Japanese bass baritone. And he was singing Commendatore, and I was singing Don Anna in Pensacola Opera's Don Giovanni. And so this will be our first gig together since that. And then we have another coming up in the spring of next year. He'll be singing Zarastro, and I'll be Pamina in the Magic Flute. Well, I started a jewelry business. It began as a way to keep my sanity and be creative, apart from practicing, which I was also doing a lot of singing. But it turned into kind of an addiction where I was just making a whole bunch of stuff, and I decided to start selling it. And now I have this little business. It's called Clay Matter Jewelry, a play on gray matter. So I was always in choirs growing up. And when I got to the high school level, Texas has an amazing choral education program. And so all of the high schools provide competition opportunities for their singers, and there's different levels of choirs that you can audition for at district and state levels. And in order to prepare you for that, sometimes they'll bring in voice teachers. And my junior year, one of the voice teachers they brought in was an opera singer who was in the area and involved with Houston Grand Opera, and got me into it. He suggested that I try out for HGO's high school voice studio because they offered scholarships for college. And I got in, and that was wicked cool. I got to see live operas every time they had a final dress rehearsal. We had tickets. We got to watch from backstage. We were given voice lessons and a recital opportunity every semester. And I remember when I saw Turandot from the front row in the final dress, what made me fall in love with opera was that finale of Act One. I just thought, I had full body chills, and I thought, I had no idea this is what opera is. I've got to be a part of this. Well, right now I'm dying to do a Violetta. I've been working on her for a few years and haven't felt quite ready, but now I think I'll jump at the opportunity if it shows up. And the other is Desdemona in Otello. I love that music. I love her Willow aria. It's just, oh, total dream role. I think a lot of artists after the pandemic remembered that we're more than just singers. And so that was something that I kind of got to relearn about myself. That was cool. And I come from a long line of nerds, and I've had a lot of hobbies and activities in the past, everything from painting to calligraphy to, I had a brief obsession with Greek mythology when I was in junior high. Things like that are all a part of, I think, what gives me my personality, but also kind of what throws us into opera as well, because opera incorporates so many of those different things. But it was really great to revisit some of those hobbies, especially visual art, over the pandemic. That's something I love. As for a fun fact, I love Japan. I've been there twice. I love the food. I love the language. I'm trying to learn it. And my Japanese husband is very graciously patient with me because it is a tough language to learn. But I think what I'm going to work on next is a set of Japanese songs in a song cycle. I haven't chosen it yet, but there's actually a lot of rep to choose from. So that's sort of my next project to help me learn the language a little better. Yes. Lately, I've been obsessed with this artist named Aldous Harding. She's really, you know her maybe, yeah. Fantastic, unique sound and incredible songwriter. But her song Stop Your Tears, which is a few years old now, I just can't get enough of it. I have it on repeat. It's kind of a moody song to play over and over again, but I love it. Other two would probably be First Aid Kit America and Elle King's Love Stuff album. So I also have a really bad habit of reading 5 things at once, and sometimes it'll take me years to finish something. Like I'm still technically 2/3 of the way through Brothers Karamazov. I haven't finished it. I just need little bites because it is complex. But I just finished, or I guess I'm about to finish, Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. Really interesting. I also read, I think it's Perfect Strangers, or How to Talk to Strangers. That's what it is. Same author. Both of them are really interesting and kind of go into how our subconscious affects how we make decisions and how we interact with people. super cool stuff. So I don't know if I have a favorite movie. I love Coen Brothers movies. So maybe I can just call that a category. TV shows, that changes all the time, but the one that comes to mind first, I just finished The White Lotus on HBO. It's so good. Totally weird, and the characters are so well developed, you just get sucked in right away. And there's this feeling of anxiety throughout the entire season that's really addictive and fun. But the other thing I love about it is the Hawaiian music in the background is just amazing. Like, I want to go download the whole soundtrack. It's really a spectacular show. I would definitely want to do some food exploration. And the other thing I want to do is go to the zoo, because I didn't make it last time. And I know San Diego has one of the top zoos in the world, so I want to check that out. I'd probably be a teacher of some kind. Maybe not a music teacher, although I would love that. But for a while, I entertained the idea of being an English teacher or a literature teacher. Yeah, that really appeals to me.